Well, I'm at a small lake and I wanted to go fishing this morning, and I also got something in the mail, a little mystery box. When we get the boat launched, I'll show you what this is, and we'll try it out. I'm hoping that this does better than the last one. Come along. Below this video, click on Show More to see links for many of the items used in most of my videos. They are there so you can locate them in case you are interested. So it's 6 feet of water I'm in pretty much. The water temperature is 76.5. It says 8:06 a.m., but it's really 7:06. I didn't set the time back on that. And let's go fishing. Okay, I've moved on the inside grass line. There's open water back here. I'm in 5.7 feet of water. So there's plenty of water back here. And I'm throwing this crankbait just to kind of cover some water first thing in the morning. And in case you're wondering, yes, I am braided line to a fluorocarbon leader here. The braided line is, there we go. Not much of a fish, but wow, that was maybe 4-6 inches long, but it was a bite. I don't know if you can hear that. Let me turn this way. Those are sandhill cranes. That's a big bird, as you can see them, and they're very noisy. They're usually in pairs, and they're going to land on the shore. Well, we are on the downwind side of the lake, and while it is pretty breezy, I'm really having no problem controlling the boat. And as I'm sure you're all familiar, this boat really does handle the weather quite well, especially since you're fishing with your feet. I'm hoping that the wind noise on the mic isn't too bad. I have muffs on the microphone. But I am in the direct wind. Now my plan is to try and cover some water with this crankbait. not that big of a body of water, and look for, oh, there we go. We got a fish on. Oh, that's a nice fish. Make sure that the camera's on. Whoa! That's a good fish. All right, I just barely got him on the lip, but all right, we're in. Wow, real nice fish. Let's see what he is in length. Hoping you can see this. It's a little bit more than 18.5 inches. There he goes. All right, I had to pause a minute because the memory card inside my GoPro that I stick in the water, for some reason, wasn't working, so I changed out to a different SD card. So let's go continue. Well, at least we got one good fish so far. It's early in the morning. It's 7:30. Yeah, well, there we go again. All right, well, here's another bass. Maybe not as big as the other one, but still a nice one. All right, here we go. All right, an observation. There is Kissimmee grass all the way out to here, scattered. And then there's dense Kissimmee grass here. Both of those fish I caught between the sparse Kissimmee grass and the dense Kissimmee grass. So let me try to maybe throw along there too. I have a subscriber, Bob from Louisiana, and he tells me that he can't really fish too much, I think health reasons, and so he likes to watch me fish because he fishes vicariously from the back of the boat. So, Bob, this is for you. Hope you're having a good time in the back. The water seems to be normal height and not low. However, at the boat launch, maybe I was sitting on some gravel that was higher than it normally is or something like that, but the bunks of the trailer, I couldn't even get it to the water. So that's the one advantage of the twin troller. I can still launch it. I just push it off, and then when I go to pull it out of the water, I just back it in just like I did and pull it up onto the bunks. It does just fine doing that. I'm sure that they get alligators here, but I've never seen an alligator in all the times I've been here. But see this here? This is the kind of place where they would build their nest. It's kind of away from people, and it's thick enough and dense enough that the female will come in here and she'll build a mound of mud and torn up reeds like that, and anything else, sticks and things she can find, and she'll lay her eggs in it and then cover it back over with the mud. And temperature inside the nest determines what the sex of the alligators will be. The hottest ones will be males, and the cooler ones will be females. Bet you didn't know that, did you? There's one. Ah, he got off. Well, I hope you saw that on this camera anyway, because I didn't have the one on my chest on, and it was a smaller fish, but came up to the top, broke me off for some reason. I don't understand why. And that was on the fluke. I don't really understand what broke that off. That doesn't make sense. All right, let's retie. All right, I told you about this mystery box. And what is it? Well, inside here is a pulsed engine tachometer, and it has a cable with a clamp. The cable goes into here, and it will tell you what your RPMs are on a motor. Now, if you remember, I tried doing this with a different one not that long ago, and it didn't work. It was programmable, has a couple of buttons here, you had to tell it what it was, and it didn't work. This one I have seen used for lawnmowers, which is a 4-cycle motor, single cylinder, which is exactly what I have. So I'm going to try this one, and it has instructions here. Let me just read you the first paragraph. The tachometer is simple to operate and is suitable for 2-stroke single cylinder, 4-stroke twin cylinder, and petrol engines that rotate once a week. Once a week. I don't know what that means. More suitable for gasoline-powered chainsaws, gasoline-powered lawnmower, gasoline engine test speed, measured speed RPMs, in the range is 100 RPMs to 30,000 RPMs. Due to the inductive design, put the meter near the spark plug cable. It will test the data. Keep the meter between the spark plug 3 to 5 centimeters and then test. Or method 2 is insert the pickup wire into the hole of the meter and make the metal clip clamp on the spark plug cable, and that's what I'm planning on doing here. And it has a built-in battery. It goes into power saving mode after it's not used for a little while and turns itself back on. Made in China. Oh, that's a surprise. And if you're so inclined, it has writing on the back, of which I have no idea how to read. Let me show you how this goes on the motor. Let's just loosen up this cable. Put that in my pocket. Don't want to lose it. All right. It's a fairly long cable, but I have seen this used without the cable at all Apparently if you just hold this up to the spark plug wire, it will operate the way how it is. But I'm going to do it this way. Stick it through this way and then stick it back again the other way so that it doesn't fall off and I don't lose it out here on the lake. Okay, and then I'll tighten it, and look, see, it stays fairly ready to go. All right, let's try it. All right, let me show you what I did. I pulled up the cover and I put the clamp on the back here, and I ran the wire all the way around here and out the front. Now, let me put this back together somewhat. I don't want to put it all the way together. So this way, I can kind of leave it here. It's actually working. Yep. All right. Four, 3, 0, 5,400, 5,340 RPMs. All right, there's a pretty good idle right there. And it says 1590, 1620, 1650, 1590. All right, so it's roughly idling about 1600 RPMs. Let me turn this off. So this seems to work, and it works pretty well. This one actually gives me a reading, and from what I can tell, it seems like it's fairly accurate. Well, I'm happy about that. That gives me an idea of what my maximum RPMs are under load, and it also gives me an idea of my idle speed. So now I can verify that with the manual to see if I'm in the range where I am supposed to be. I think that was a good experiment. I think you also could only do this out on the water. Trying to do it in the bucket with full throttle, throwing the water all over. That didn't quite work too well last time we tried that. As you saw, when I was testing the idle speed, I reached over the motor with the cowling off and touched or came close to the spark plug wire with this end of this tester. It's just where the sensor is. And that gave me the throttle speed at idle. I'm reaching over the back of the motor. I'm actually over the water with this. I have to be careful I don't drop this. It's going in the water. And then I'd lose it. You can't do that when you're testing wide open throttle speed. You need that clamp and the wire. So I reached around the back of the motor, clamped that onto the spark plug wire, ran the wire all the way around the front of the motor towards me inside the boat, connected this through the little hole that's on the side so that I could run at wide open throttle and read what the speed was. If you tried to do that standing in the back of the motor at wide open throttle while the boat is moving, a good possibility you're going for a swim. I didn't really want to go swimming today, so this made more sense. So if you do that, please be careful. Use this around the front to get an idea of your wide open throttle speed. So why did I do this video? Why did I go through the expense of buying this tachometer? What was the issue here? Well, when I first bought my TwinTroller, I remember the engine speed to be higher. One day I happened to notice that it seemed like it was running slower than it had been at wide open throttle previously. And I've always wondered if there was something that changed, some setting got off, some screw got loose, and it slowed down the motor from the speed it should have been doing. In my case, if you look at the manual, it says that idle speed should be around 2,000 RPMs, plus or minus. Well, mine is about 1,600, but it doesn't stall, so I'm okay with that. And wide open throttle is supposed to be, according to the manual, between 5,000 and 6,000. Well, mine's about 5,400, so it's in the lower end of that range. And I may wind up trying to find the adjustment and bring that speed up a little bit. But this kind of confirms to me that it isn't running at its top RPMs that I think that it should be. And that was the purpose of my doing all this. Another reason why you may need to test your engine speed is if you change the propeller. We have a TwinTroller community on Facebook. In there, I heard somebody once talk about how they wanted to get a different propeller. People have asked me if you can get a metal propeller. The one that comes with the Honda is plastic. Mine's getting a little bit dinged up here and there, but it's not bad. I'm okay with it. But somebody on Facebook said that they bought one on Amazon. Matter of fact, I looked it up. There are 2 of them on Amazon, and I'll put links to them below and show more, so you can find them if you wanted. One's around $16, the other one's around $32, as best I can remember. Now the propeller is 7 1/4 by 5. That means the diameter of the propeller, which is the 7 1/4, that means how big of a hole of water it pushes through. And the other number 5 is the pitch. Pitch is how much distance one rotation of the propeller makes the boat move forward if it was in a solid. Because in a boat in water, there's slip, so the propeller doesn't always create 5 inches for every inch that it turns, but that's what that means. So there is a metal one on Amazon. I'm not 100% sure it's exactly the same way, but somebody on Facebook said, I bought that, I used it. If you happen to read this, I never did get back with them to see how well they liked it, what the difference in performance was. Please comment below if you're the guy that did that, or several people that did that maybe. I'd like to know. But the idea is, if your propeller changes in pitch and things like that, it will affect how the motor's running. So at wide open throttle, you don't want to exceed that 6,000 RPMs. And if you put in a propeller that has a lesser pitch, the motor will scream and can explode. Once you get, way over 6,000 RPMs, you can really cause damage to the motor, and you don't want to do that. So that's another reason for this. If I wind up buying a metal propeller to try it out, I would wind up using this to make sure that I'm still in the correct range of between 5,000 and 6,000 RPMs that I want it to be in. Well, I hope you enjoyed this and learned something. And if you need to check your own RPMs on your outboard, this seems to work. The only bad part is it is a permanent battery that's in here. So someday when this battery dies, I'm out of luck. Thanks for watching. Bye now.